Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is Stéphane on the French Cooking Academy, touring France at the moment. Just for a year we're visiting all this beautiful region, but today I'm going to try to answer again one of your requests as subscribers and people who watch the channel. People have been asking me what exactly are the French eating on a daily basis, these kind of simple, easy dishes, not the escoffier things. And I thought, it's a valid point and maybe we should explore some of this recipe. And that's what we're gonna do today, just in a sec. So what are the French people eating at home on a daily basis? Like the simple home meal? This is one of the questions I get all the time on the channel. And I think I could make this an official kind of thing. I'm gonna create a playlist I'm gonna call like quick and easy French recipes. And once in a while, I will be picking one of the thousands of recipes that exist out there, simple ones, and put it in there so that you guys can have a look on what exactly is it that people eat. So today we're gonna start with a simple recipe which is called the Tart aux deux jambons. It is actually a bit like a quiche kind of style, with a puff pastry, like a pre-rolled puff pastry that we put in a mold. We're gonna cover the bottom with mustard, sprinkle 2 types of ham. You're gonna have some raw ham, you're gonna have some cooked ham, and over we're gonna put a special mix of eggs, cream, and this time yogurt for something a bit lighter. So let's have a look. We'll try it out and see how we go. And here we have the ingredient of our famous, the 2 ham mustard tarts. We've got the 2 types of ham. We got the raw ham here, and we got the standard cooked ham. This is a roll of puff pastry, pre-rolled, pre-made. We've got some yogurt here. I've got some cream in the fridge, the eggs, the mustard, and this is what I want to talk about. Now that cheese that you see here is wrongly called Gruyere râpé in France, and the usage of that cheese in the French home is just ridiculous. It must be the equivalent of ranch dressing in America. I mean, people have these in their fridge at all times. We put this cheese in everything, in pasta, in gratin, in croque-monsieur. Just people eat it just like that, just a handful of that cheese. But why did I say wrongly called? There is a reason for that, because actually that cheese is not Gruyere. Blackboard, please. Do not confuse Gruyere cheese and Emmental cheese, also called the Emmentaler. They're both cheese coming from Switzerland, and people tend to mix them up. We tend to say, oh, Gruyere, when it's actually Emmental, and what I show you in the video is actually the Emmental. The easiest thing to recognize the two is that if you see a mouse, not in real, but in the cartoons, when the mouse come out of the cheese with the holes everywhere, that is typical of the Emmental cheese. So a big cheese with hole everywhere, and when you get a big slice of it, you can say firmly this is an Emmental cheese. The Gruyere, on the other hand, has got no holes. It's very dense, and it's much more flavorsome and strong, and much stronger than the Emmental. The Emmental is a very mild, everyday type of cheese, and it doesn't crumble. And the Gruyere is like a little bit the Comté cheese. So let's not mistake the both. So what I've shown you before is Emmental cheese. And now let's start the recipe. First we're going to take one of these tart mold or quiche pan or whatever we call it, and a piece of butter, usually on a fork like that, and you just go around and generously put butter everywhere, the sides and the bottom. Once the butter has been applied, what we're going to do is take a little flour like this in the sieve, and you're going to put flour everywhere in the pan. And of course that's too much. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna move it around like this. And I won't do this over here, but basically you can see the excess of flour. You're gonna pour that in a bin or keep it in another container, and we're just gonna keep that really thin coating to prevent the dough from sticking. When your tin is coated with flour, we need to put the dough. So this is puff pastry already pre-made. It's very thin, it's very kind of hard and fragile to work with. What I'm going to try is go a bit freestyle and try to put this like that, and then take the whole thing and turn it around to kind of have the rough estimate. And from there I'm just going to adjust it, put it a little bit, and put it in my mold. Well, you get the idea. You put your dough in your tin pan. Now I've tucked my dough inside the mold here, but what I want to show you is that sometimes, especially with puff pastry, that's going to rise and you have little edges like that. that tend to kind of go on the side. They're trying to go over like that, and that can stick to the side, and it can really prevent one of the sides to grow. And when you want to take it out, it's going to be a problem. So always, if you get bits like this, make sure you really push these back in. So we're going to try to really push these like that back inside towards the inside of the pan, like this, so it doesn't come. So you need to have that kind of black rim to make sure it's going to rise, and when you take it out of the mold, it's going to be nice and easy. When you're done, we're going to store this in the fridge while we're making the savory mix that go inside there, and you're going to preheat your oven at 180 degrees Celsius or about 356 degrees Fahrenheit. And now for the savory mix, we're going to start with 4 full eggs, a dash of black pepper, and we don't put any salt. What do you think is that? Moment to think. Actually, it's because the ham we're going to put in is full of salt. Therefore, don't add any more salt. It's going to be too salty. So you can beat the eggs slightly and just break them like this. Nothing special. We're going to add all of the yogurt. It's about 100 grams of plain yogurt. And we're going to add to this a little bit of cream. So let me put this on the sides, and if that doesn't fall, yes, no, it's going to fall. About 2 tablespoons of cream in here. Mix well. So that's going to be the base, and so is the same. Eggs, cream, and this time is yogurt, a bit of taste, and then the Emmental cheese, Emmentaler. So a little bit of it, about 100 grams. So nice and rich, and on top of that we're gonna have our ham. That's on here. So again, it's very rich. As you can see, it's a mix of all the hams, and the raw ham, the cooked ham is gonna be good. So if it gets too thick, get a bigger bowl. I think that's the only bowl I've got, but you get the idea. So you mix everything together, and then we're gonna go to the next step. And now I've taken my pastry, my mold here, out of the fridge, and we have to do a bit of painting. So this is my tool, mustard, with a kitchen brush, or pastry brush, I think it's called. And I feel like Picasso today a little bit. I'm going to be painting some quiche today. So you're going to be basically coating the quiche. I make little drawings, actually just a little layer like that. And very gently just put mustard all over the bottom of your pan. It's that simple. Once your piece of art is done, what needs to be done is just pour all of the mix on there and spread it out. Look at this, a big mountain of ham. But that should just fit about right. And we are done. Look at this beautiful mix. It fits perfectly. And remember, this is puff pastry, so I'm quite curious to see what's going to happen. So we have to cook this now in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. I'm going to put it on the middle tray in the oven, and I'm not going to use fan force. I'm going to use the standard cooking, just with both element bottom and top without fan for 35 minutes, and we'll see the result. 30 minutes have passed and it's out of the oven, just fresh. It's super hot, so I'm not taking it out yet, but just trying to look at it. It's quite firm already. It's really set. Maybe I really wonder how it is inside. So we're going to let it cool down a bit and then slice it open. The tart is now cold, and it's not cold, but it's actually, you know, kind of warm. And you know what? Let's try to cut this open. Now it looks a bit firm to me, but I just want to have a look. So I'm going to try to use a sharp knife, and we just gonna slice just a little piece. Okay. I like the puff pastry. Bring something really nice in there, and let's have a look. This is the inside. Let's have a closer look. All right, so it was pretty easy to cut, and so I want to show you here the pastry. It's nice and crunchy. So this is the puff pastry, and a closer look at the slice here. Now the first thing I've noticed, which is interesting, there's really not much, like, you know, sometimes there's a bit of water, so it's quite firm, it's quite dense. And now let's have a try. Really, that's all we can do. Oh, you see the interior there, a bit grainy, but all in all, a nice little bite, for anyone hungry. All right, okay, that's interesting. I was really kind of suspicious, you know, cautious with the yogurt in there instead of cream. It's actually not Not too bad, you know. I thought it would bring some kind of sour taste or anything like that. But all in all, it's pretty good. You can feel both of the ham. There's a bit of smokiness from the raw ham. You can see the difference in taste. Not too much cheese. I thought it was going to be super cheesy. The only thing I would say with the yogurt rather than cream is that it tends to maybe be a bit, little bit dry on the top. It's not a big deal. I think if you use a different type of cheese, maybe Gruyere instead of Emmental, or use Comté cheese or something else, you may come up with different results. But all in all, I think it's it's quick fix recipe. It's nice, easy to make for a nice little picnic, different flavor. You do feel the mustard, but just a hint at the bottom. If you want to feed it more, I really advise to put more on there. But for the rest, it's pretty good. But that's it. How quick was that? And the typical home recipe. You know now what some of the French people are actually eating. And this is a variant of the quiche using 2 types of ham, some mustard, and it's pretty good. And it doesn't take much time, about 20 minutes. So do use maybe different ingredients and different fillings and post your pictures on Instagram, #FrenchCookAcademy, because I'm always keen on following you guys and see what you are making. And if you want to see some of my stuff, you will find some behind the scenes. I think you can also follow me on Facebook, and as always, I've got a Patreon account. If you want to become a Patreon member, I will really appreciate it. But that's it for me. I'll leave you again with this picture, and I'll see you all next time on the next video. Take care all. Bye bye.